Hi, plant people, and welcome to the second season of the Plants by Wade Lee podcast. I'm your host, Wade Lee. Do you feel emotionally connected to your plants? As if in the process of caring for them, they as well are caring for you? We will have in-depth conversations with plant experts, authors, entrepreneurs, and plant personalities. Join me as we dig deep and experience the magic of plants. Hi, plant people, and welcome to the second season of the Plants by Wade Lee podcast. I'm your host, Wade Lee. What a lineup of plant personalities, influencers, and authors we have this season. Stay tuned. Hi, plant people, and welcome to the second season of the Plants by Wade Lee podcast. I'm so excited to talk with Denise from Tropical Seductions. I have met you at an event at Succulent Empires in Orlando, and I just fell in love with you. We kind of recorded something, but for whatever reason, the audio did not work that day, but I'm glad that we finally been able to connect here. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Thank you. You just came back from Florida.
Yes, I went to the IIS, which is now, I guess, called the Tropical Plant Expo. And it was fun. That was, I think, my fourth time attending. I skipped 23, but the years before that I attended, and this year it was like bigger. It was like so
That's
much
awesome.
bigger than all the years before. Yeah.
Yeah, I've lived in Florida for 4 years now, and every year I'm like, I'm gonna go, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. So I cannot miss it next year. I have to be there. I actually became a member like the last day of this expo because I was like, okay, I have no excuse now. Now I'm a member.
Then you also get notified.
Yeah, right, exactly. Denise, let's talk a little bit about like the beginnings. When did you fall in love with plants?
As a child, I loved to have like the little tiny cactuses that you can get from IKEA that come in the set of 3, like the mini ones. Yeah. So I think it started with like 11, and I was putting on my windowsill all the tiny cactuses that I got. But that was back when I lived in Germany. And then when I moved to the United States in 2015, I was like, falling in love slowly with tropical plants. And in 2018, it was like basically over. Yeah. Like everything.
That's amazing. What is this beautiful plant next to you right now?
This is the Philodendron ismanii.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
It's such a beautiful variegation and very underrated. I don't know why, because it has the green, the yellow, the white, everything.
That's beautiful. Did you find some goodies at IAS this year?
I was so good this year. I came home with 3 plants, and 2 of them are not for me. So I bought like little miniature orchids that I pre-ordered from Ecuagenera, which is going to be a gift for someone, and then just a tiny anthurium.
Yeah, that's so cool. These miniature orchids are so beautiful, and I'm loving watching how people are displaying them and making little terrariums for them. It's so cool. Do you have any for yourself?
No, I actually don't have, because I have a hard time keeping orchids alive after they bloomed for me.
Yeah, I have mine just all out in my palm tree, and see that the buds are starting to develop, so I'm super excited. I hope this will be the first bloom since I had them on the tree. Yeah. But the roots, it's amazing how they grow out of the palms. Like the roots are just hanging, and so I know they're doing well. Just recently went to an orchid show in Jacksonville, and some of the orchids hanging that were on sale had like 4 or 5 foot roots, aerial roots, just so beautiful. It's like a sculpture.
Yeah, it's funny how we plant people get so excited about just random roots.
Right.
It's not only the flowers or the leaves, it's like, oh, look at those juicy area roots hanging
Yeah,
down, dripping. Yeah.
exactly. And that's why I love doing this, Denise, because it's like, you get it. So that's why these conversations are so fun. What is your favorite plant in your collection?
Right now, I will have to say it's probably my Monstera alba, which is like, it's just been with me for since 2019, and it's gigantic, and I just really, really love it. But this one has like, it's like making its way into the top three, like sneaking in from behind with every new leaf. But I will have to say it's definitely just Monstera alba.
Yeah, it's amazing. How did you manifest Tropical Seductions in doing these tours? How did you build this business for yourself?
So I always wanted to be a Pocahontas, It was
Yeah.
my favorite Disney movie growing up, and I there was just something about the rainforest itself. And I guess that's how I got into tropical plants as well. There was always something so fascinating about the rainforest, the rivers, the waterfalls. And so even before I got into plants, my wish was always one day I will travel to the Amazon rainforest. I would do an expedition. I would sit in a canoe and I would, like pedal and have the whole experience. And then when I got into plants and I saw that there are so many other people who love tropical plants, it's like a whole community out there. I'm like, I can't be the only one who wants to do this, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to start before the pandemic, like 2 months before. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start. But then the pandemic hit. So it all got pushed out until 2020. Plant community out there. And I cannot be the only one who wants to go and explore and see the plants in their natural habitat in the rainforest, Amazon rainforest, jungles, wherever they are from. And unfortunately, the pandemic hit, so I had to postpone and push it back. And in 2023 is when I launched the first group trip for the plant community to go to Costa Rica and explore the rainforest in Costa Rica.
That's amazing. And how many trips have you been on now?
Now I've been on three, wait, three trips. And the fourth one is coming up next month, November, and we're going to Bali
Bali.
to explore the jungle regions in Bali.
Amazing. And what kind of activities do you have planned while you're on these trips?
Always jungle hikes or rainforest hikes. Obviously, we want to see the plants in the natural habitat. We always go to waterfalls, most of the time, multiple waterfalls. We always have some water activities. If it's river rafting, we did in Ecuador, canoe. In Bali, we're going snorkeling on an island to see a little bit of the wildlife and be able to snorkel there. We also go on a canoe ride. And what is super important for me, it's of course about nature, but it's also about culture. So for all the trips, we always visit villages or indigenous community. In Ecuador, we went to visit an indigenous community to learn about their traditions, how they use plants for medicinal purposes, how they harvest it. And in Bali, we are going to be visiting a Balinese farm, and we're going to be harvesting with them on that little farm. And the food that we are harvesting, we are going to prepare alongside the Balinese farmers for our lunch.
Oh,
So
so
these things are
amazing.
super important, yeah, and I love to add them. It's less city, so I never include like big city tours or going to museums
Yeah.
because that is something that you can do with your family,
Right. Yeah.
right?
This is the
But
nitty
having
gritty plants and their
mm,
natural habitat, which is so cool. When you were in Ecuador, the boat that you were on lost power, correct?
yeah, so they make their own motors,
Right.
and they use like this little that you use for gardening, that little propeller thing. Yeah, they take it and just attach it to like a random motor, and yeah, it didn't. There was something wrong. It didn't connect it, so we were a little stranded. Not too big of a deal, It looked more scary than it was. I was laughing a lot, and it was fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and someone came to help us out, so it
Totally.
wasn't too bad.
That's so cool. What has been like your most memorable experience on one of these tours?
I love water. So for me, it's everything that has to do, every tiny waterfall, big or small, that I can actually go into, it's like the highlight.
Yeah.
I don't care if I have to climb down, if I like slip or whatever. If I get the chance to go into a waterfall that is surrounded by a jungle, by a rainforest, that goes back to the Pocahontas moment, when she's like jumping into the waterfall and just swimming. So that's my absolute favorite. And then connecting with the people. That's why it's a group trip, right?
Yeah.
I could do solo trips, but it's about connecting with like-minded people, seeing their eyes lit up, the excitement. People, like, most of the time, they're going out of their comfort zone, joining on these group trips, going into nature, deep into the rainforest, and you can see how they get confidence, how they're like proud of themselves for pushing, and that makes me very happy and proud myself.
Yeah, I love that. And you toured Ecuagenera's nurseries in Ecuador, correct?
Yes. So I did 2 trips this year to Ecuador. One was all about nature, and the second one was to actually go in collaboration with Ecuagenera and to visit their properties, their nurseries, their reserves, and then also obviously include cultural elements into the trip. And it's gigantic. We went to 2 different places, and I think the first one had like 20 or 30 greenhouses. We didn't were able to look into all of them. I think we managed to go into 10.
Yeah.
A lot of orchids, aeroids, and then they also have reserves. We went to one reserve, and a reserve is basically they take a part of the rainforest that has been destroyed, they buy it, and then they replant and reforest.
So cool.
And the one that we went into, it was amazing because they already had insects and pests. People were like, oh, there's so many pests. They're like, yes, we need those to attract birds and other wildlife back into this part of the forest. So there's a whole ecosystem happening, and that's exactly what we want. So that was amazing to see and to learn so much about Ecuagenera as a company. There's always been, like talk here and there. I've been around in the community for a long time, but to actually see, to talk to the employees that live there, the cities, the people, how they talk about Ecuagenera, how Ecuagenera is giving back to the community is mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's like they own the country.
Yeah,
They're like doing so many good things there. It's crazy.
it's so fascinating too, like following like Leafy Diva, and
Mhm.
she had panned across while you were in one of the nurseries, like I believe tissue culture, thousands and thousands of little plants growing
Mm.
in the greenhouse. It's so amazing to think about how big the operation is there.
It's gigantic, and what I always thought that obviously Ecuador must be tissue culturing, right? It's the big thing. They actually grow their plants from seeds. So all the
Really?
tiny little things that you saw, all these thousands are plants grown from seeds. They have the promise of cultivating and protecting, and that's why they don't take any plants from nature. They don't have to.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
so many mother plants that they can take seeds and cross pollinate and pollinate. They don't even have to do that. They don't have to propagate, cut plants. They grow their plants from seeds,
That's
like the
amazing.
majority of the plants. Yeah.
So all those little capsules were just seeds growing in them. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Because there looked like there was thousands. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And and this is how, they are in Florida and California and do tours all over the United States as well, because they're growing these plants in such a big capacity. It's amazing. So amazing. And to be right there and to see them doing the work in the community to build the ecosystem in the rainforest has to be such just an awe moment and a life-changing moment at that as well. What?
Yeah. It changed.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, it definitely changed. I've always been a supporter of Ecuagenera, but it really did change my whole view onto the company. Such humble people. We had both of the vice presidents come. Ivan showed us around. He took 2 days out of his like busy schedule to just show us around and explain everything. And they have scholarships where they bring young people to come and work there. They can live on the property. They have no rent. Food is included. Even the people who work there, the people who cook and stuff, they can live on the property in the house. And yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's
so amazing. When did you start communicating to your audience about doing these tours? Like, how did you even decide? Like, were people like, "You're crazy, Denise. What? We're just gonna jump on a plane and come with you on these tours?" What was that experience like, opening that up to the public?
So it's like I said, it already started in 2020. And I did an interview with the LA Times in 2020, and they asked me because I created the IKEA terrarium, the big one. And so there's like this, and I explained why I did it, because it's like when I open it, it's like a portal into the rainforest. And that until I'm able to go and experience the Amazon rainforest, my IKEA terrarium is like basically a portal for me. Every time I open it, I feel like. So it already started in 2020. I have manifested this for years. So the people who were around, they always knew that this is something that I want to do, and it's a dream and a life goal. So in 2023, in the beginning of the year, I just said, guys, this is happening now. Would you come with me and travel to explore the rainforests of the world? And then I did like surveys here and there, on my stories, and collected people who were interested in. And then I decided to go. So the safest, Costa Rica's tourism is on point. It's like one of the biggest income sources for the country. So I was like, okay, we can start with the safest one first. Costa Rica. And it took a while because I got so many messages from people like, is this a scam? Are you scamming us? I'm like, no. Right. I'm not scamming you. And it was important for me to work with a company, so that a third party company that you book with them, payment goes to them. It's a travel agency, so that people know this is not me trying to steal money from you and collect money. It took a while, but once I launched the trip, within 2 weeks I had the minimum travelers of 8 people who were signed up, and I was like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, so awesome.
Let's go.
What encouragement would you give to someone who is like, Denise, I kind of want to go on this trip, but I'm a little scared. I haven't been out of the country. What advice would you give to them?
The best way to, if you have never been out of the country, is with a group of like-minded people, because you don't have to worry about anything. The whole itinerary is set up. We always have a local guide, so someone who speaks the language, who is from there, who has done it for years and years and years, so you don't have to worry. If there's anything with the hotel, you have a host, me, and a local guide that will sort everything out for you, so you can just relax and hang out with like-minded nature lovers and plant lovers. So I have not had anyone ever say that they didn't enjoy the trip. And most of the time on the next trip, I have at least 6 to 7 people who joined the trip before.
Awesome.
Who is joining the next one. So I really make sure that everyone feels welcome and safe on other trips.
Yeah. For those that don't follow, it is at Tropical Seductions, and you can see all of the footage on there. It is breathtaking. Getting married in October, so I'm like so on a budget, but I'm like, I keep saying to Malcolm, let's go to Bali, let's go. It's something that I will definitely be doing in the near future. Denise, what is a plant, a wish list plant that you still don't have?
So wish list, there's a lot of monsteras that are variegated. There is what is it called? Yellow flame or lime. It's the one that is like completely yellow. I have a kunzo, but mine has reverted. And sorry, I'm trying to fix it, but I guess I'm just over it, so I kind of want a new one. But yeah, these are like any kind of variegated monsteras that I don't have. Yeah, the kunzo. Yes, I have a kunzo, but it reverted on me. I cut it back now and I'm hoping. But at this point, I had it for over a year. It's not doing much. So I would think I'm like, okay, I can have this one in a corner, but maybe I should get a new one.
Yeah. Are you still making terrariums?
I have a bio orb, so I'm not currently making one. I'm moving end of November. I'm staying in the area. I'm just moving, so I'm not doing any new projects right now. But I am really enjoying my bio orb. It is exploding, and I need to cut it back. But yeah, I would love to eventually, when I move, maybe set back up an IKEA terrarium. At this point, I just love it. Just a smell when you open it, and it just like, smells like the rainforest.
It's
The best
amazing.
smell ever. I need like a rainforest perfume smell.
You really were like one of the first people to convert one of those IKEA cabinets into a living.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Were you one of the first people to take an IKEA cabinet and create it into a living terrarium?
Yeah, I was the first. My IKEA terrarium is the first one. I have the tutorial on my YouTube channel. I wasn't the first one to take an IKEA cabinet and put plants in it, but I was the first one who made it a whole terrarium using the phone. My idea was to take the glass and make it as the barrier in the front so you can put soil in it. That's all like my idea, yeah.
It's amazing. Whatever happened to that terrarium?
It's with my friend who is building it right now. He's making a waterfall because mine was the first, so it's like the basic one. Since then, people have made some crazy ones with like water dripping. Mine is just like the basic one, and he's putting geckos in it.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's almost done.
And you have long form videos on YouTube, DIYs and plant information.
Yeah. It's more a lot of like recommendations. I do humidifier comparison videos. I have a few like traveling videos, like going to the IIS and going to nurseries, more like active ones, less in the home. I have some old school plant collection videos, which shows how crazy I was in the beginning of my collect. Now I have downsized dramatically. At one point, I have over 200 plants. So that was crazy. Now I'm at 50 and I'm downsizing, moving in, moving out. So yeah, there is probably I think around 40 videos on my YouTube channel that you guys can check out.
Yeah, because it's a lot with the traveling that you do to like keep and maintain plants. It's not an easy job. And you're right. These accounts that have like 200, 300, I'm like, how? And they look picture perfect. I'm like, what do you do? I can't imagine. So you're downsizing your plant collection. Mm-hmm. How many plants do you think you said you have? About 50 now?
Yeah, so I put up a grow tent earlier this year because I wanted to start getting into selling plants again. But then things changed, sometimes in life things changed. So I already did like a live auction. I already went to a market. So I have like 50 in my collection, but then I have still more that were technically supposed to be selling. I only have like one shelf left of plants that I need to sell. So I will be heading out to local markets here in the Southern California area. And then for like my collection, I'm like downside. I want to move with 15, so I have a lot.
Wow, so then you still have a lot to go.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and if they all look as beautiful as this one, Denise, they'll go fast.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty too, that plant lovers and collectors, they take such good care of plants, so it's like always fun to buy from someone. It's amazing to see people finding plants on Facebook Marketplace, like crazy huge plants that like if you just pick it up you can have it. I'm like,
not me.
Yeah,
I don't have
right?
that luck.
Well, Trinity Tropics, like he's
I follow
always
him,
finding like crazy plants. I'm like, what?
He is, that's true.
Yeah. Awesome. And then everyone can find you on social media at
Tropical Seductions, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest. And I have upcoming group trips in 2025. They will be launching soon. We are heading back to Ecuador with Ecuagenera. So if you missed this one and you want to come, stay tuned for the announcement, again in collaboration with Ecuagenera. But it's at Tropical Seductions everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Denise, for joining me. I really appreciate it. I had so much fun chatting with you. When you come back from Bali, I would love to chat with you again and hear about the adventures that you had there.
Yes, please. We can definitely do that. It's going to be amazing, Bali. And I also maybe gonna come back in December to Orlando.
Ooh.
Maybe there's something going on in December.
Okay, awesome. Yes, we'll have to connect. I loved meeting you. It was so much fun, Denise. So thank you so much and have a great day.
You too. Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Bye.